Heck yeah.
Presence at Objective Dog. Objective Dog is under enemy control. Objective Able is now under our control. Our forces now control Objective Dog. Charge of Objective George. Objective Dog has been lost.
Pay attention, here! Control of Objective Charlie. Be sure we keep it.
Do not send the monitor.
Oh, can you guys not hear me?
There he is.
I've been talking.
Our objective in Baker has been established. You must not leave the combat area. An objective has been found and able. Defend it.
Hello everyone, thanks for watching today's episode. We are looking at the LVT for the Pacific Theater, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you my specialization tree. Alright, so on these particular ones from the Pacific Theater, there's always quite a bit as far as the specialization tree goes. Start off with the top right far side, and went with the spotting scope, then dropped it down to the incendiary launcher. Says incendiary rounds that keep burning after impact. It did seem to help a little bit, but not dramatically, I should say. I did like this a little bit better than going with the smoke discharger personally. That might be something that you can play around with to see what you prefer. I just thought this had a slight better edge than going with the smoke. And then I dropped it down to the middle for armor piercing round, and the main reason why I did that is I felt as though I wanted to make this LVT a anti-air / infantry destroyer. Those are the two main things, and the reason for it was I just felt as though you needed an extra option, or I needed an extra option to mix it up a little bit. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, technically speaking, you already have the Sherman, and what's the point of having two different tanks, or two tanks in general? So I wanted to make this kind of like an anti-air infantry destroyer, because if you think about it in the Pacific Theater, I mean, you don't get you know, like a flak panzer or whatever. This basically is that. This is your mobile AA. This is your Valentine AA to a sense, and it's the LVT. So if you go with this loadout, this is more focused, of course, on anti-air / infantry. If you were hoping to have this as, you know, like a tank loadout, for instance, you know, there's the flamethrower, and, you know, the 75mm howitzer, or going with the M6 tank gun. Hey, I totally get it. You know, some people, that's what they prefer, because, you know, they want to bring a whole bunch of their buddies with them, and I probably will do a video on that later, but I just wanted to put a little emphasis on that I wanted to use this loadout for those particular reasons. Alright, so next, or I should say, let's talk about this a little bit, and that is the armor piercing round. So, you know, those first couple clips, you hear a lot of the rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. I'm aiming, of course, for the tracks, because just like, you know, if this was a regular tank round hitting the tracks, you want to go with that, and the main reason why you want to go with that is because you still want to hit the weak spots. So it's kind of a cool effect. I mean, it sounds really cool, and when you get the kill, it's so satisfying. So yeah, by all means, still aim for the weak spots, aim for the tracks. It is challenging. I mean, you know, you're going up against a tank, for crying out loud, and you know, you're really trying to maneuver your way and beat him to the punch, if you will. So yeah, you pretty much got to have this. Now, I will give you guys a tip in regards to this, and that is shooting against aircraft. You don't want to use this, so don't hit number 5 and use this. I would say the only time you'd want to is if the aircraft was like, I don't know, the new pilot, I guess, just focus straight down on you, not moving, not maneuvering, and he's just trying to do like a diving bombing run. Maybe you could use this, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would just recommend just using the primary, mainly because the rate of fire is going to be a lot more quicker on the bullet velocity, I should say, compared to using this number 5 loadout, which is the armor piercing rounds. The only time you should use armor piercing rounds, of course, is on Jeeps, light armor, like transport vehicles and so on. Like, I don't know if there really is an armored truck. I don't think there is. But basically stuff like that. You know, Jeeps, you know, other tanks and so on. You definitely want to use this. And of course, you know, Calliope's, or not Calliope's, but Hachis. Again, I don't know if the Pacific Theater allows you to call anything that is basically like, you know, a Japanese version of a pack wagon or American version of a pack wagon. I can't remember. So, but if you could, then yeah, perfect example would be to use this. But again, against aircraft, I don't recommend it at all. It's actually pretty good against boats. You know, I saw that one clip on Pacific Storm. Alright, so also moving along. Again, I went with the twin M2 50 cals, basically because I want to make this like a mobile AA. And then these other ones, the hole mounted flamethrower. You know, I didn't have a chance to really test this with like buddies. Basically, I imagine it'd be a blast if I took off the specialization for this and substitute it with this, just because, you know, it might have been really good with the infantry getting up close. But instead I went with this because I wanted to, you know, quickly turn and hit infantry, hit, you know, aircraft and so on. And I will put a little more emphasis on this. The third person view of the sight they give you actually works really well if you happen to see the aircraft within close range. I would actually say it's a preference. You should probably go with that compared to having it sighted in. Pretty much for any tank. And again, I'll show that in a different video. I have a Churchill Crocodile in which I end up killing aircraft with a third-person sight. But anyway, that's not about... This video isn't about that, so... and then the last one, I did the improved loading mechanism. I felt the rate of fire for the primary weapon increasing by 10% was a lot better than just having extra ammo. You know, especially if you're going to do this with the armor piercing round, which again I don't recommend it, but yeah, you really need this bottom middle one. Don't go with the increased ammo. So that's pretty much it as far as my specialization tree goes. In the future I'll do a volume 2, hopefully with more of my friends and so on, to show a little more emphasis on the flamethrower, the whole amount of flamethrower, and to compare the 75mm M6 tank gun with the 75mm M2 howitzer, for instance. to see how it stacks up against regular armor, like was it the Type 97 tank and so on. So, alright guys, I really appreciate you watching today's episode, and we're coming up on, I think, 6,000 subscribers. I think we're going to get really close to it soon. So I can't thank you guys enough for supporting this channel since, I guess you could say, the time it really started getting active back in May of 2020 to now. So I can't thank you enough for the support, and hopefully we can get this channel to, 7,000, 10,000, sky's the limit. So I'm going to try my best to keep putting out quality content. Realize this doesn't have the monster kills compared to some of the other vehicles or airplanes and so on, but my goal for a Battlefield 5 channel / Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is to provide not just the same content over and over. I like to switch it up. So you may see a video in which I do a certain vehicle on a certain specialization tree, and then I'll switch it up. I just don't want to be repetitive, to a sense, unless of course it's like a monster kill video or rogue kill video, but even at those, then those more kills. Anyway, I guess I'm getting way ahead of myself and getting off topic, but again, thanks again for watching the episode, and we'll see you on the next one.